guys, we're just gonna jump right in. Our first comedian of the night. Give it up for Shiv Patel. Woo woo!
Yeah. Really kind. Thank you. Nice. So much adrenaline. Gus, congrats on the show. I'm with my nephew right now in Staten Island, and he's 3 years old. I've been watching Nick Jr. a lot, and I think Abby Hatcher's on Nick Jr. So I hope to see it with my I'm going to push it towards my nephew. I'm trying to force the show onto him.
Yes.
But I told my family about you. I was like, he wrote a show on Nick Jr. guys. Like, that's the biggest deal in the world. But the quarantine, it's been different. I was in New York, and my dad sent me an escape strategy out of the city. This is real. I'm gonna read you the text. So he goes, Shiv Beta, which means in Indian it's like Shiv, darling Shiv, which doesn't, that doesn't equate. He's like, safest game plan we can come up with for your emergency exit from New York City. Then the next line, he texts in each sentence is its own paragraph. Then he goes, my driver Andre will pick you up tomorrow around 4 p.m. so you can finish day's work. Which I thought sounded like mafia-esque a little bit. Next line, he was like, I will text him and you in a group text, own paragraph. You will be staying in Rhode Island alone for first 14 days. Then you can reunite with your parents if there are no symptoms. Sounds like conditional love to me, And then next line, I don't know why I said this. He goes, do not go to gym, otherwise you are not coming to Rhode Island. I put on the pounds. And then next line, he goes, all gyms are closed here, period. And then he goes, love you, separate line, be isolated. Which were mixed messages. He was like, love you, and then be isolated, which I didn't appreciate. But I don't know. I've been trying to talk, on the apps during this quarantine. It's tough dating because my dad limits me to race. He's like, Shiv, you can only marry an Indian woman. And I'll engage in playful banter, be like, dad, you're such a bigot. You're such a racist. Something cute and witty like that. Something you might say to your dad, You guys don't? All right. And he's like, no, I'm not. I just think that Indians are the best race. Like that's the definition of racism. You just defined it, He's like, oh, but then I guess you got me. I guess I am a racist, You got me brown-handed. Instead of red-handed. I'll be here all week. I don't know. I have been on the apps though, and thank goodness for Apple TV. We're able to throw, the girls up on the television. And I don't know if you guys know, in the Indian culture, you have to get on the apps with your grandma. Grandma Patel has to be in on the decision. And I swear to God, every time a girl comes up on the screen and she's Indian, she turns over to me and she's like, very sexy, very nice girl. Good girl for you, very hot. Good, nice girl. Very, you should feel attracted to her. I don't know if she knows how to say that, but like she's pushing the Indian on me. She's like nice brown, good brown, nice, nice whole wheat brown, nice crisp brown, not crisp brown, crisp brown, like crisp brown, nice crispy brown. And it's tough. But I don't know. I used to, I was in the city, I moved to the city recently. So I did what any 24-year-old boy would do to make friends in the city. I started taking Zumba classes, as you do. I know some people are laughing, they agree. So now all my best friends are middle-aged mothers, Some of them are on the call tonight. I see you, Diana. I don't know who Diana is, but, I'm trying for the joke, a lot of my best friends are on the call, It's just tough when I FaceTime Diana or any, of the moms that, I love, because their husbands are in the FaceTime and they get jealous. They're like, who the heck's that young, stunning brown boy, that you're talking to, that young, hot brown thing. I don't know if they probably don't say that exactly, but they, they get, they're like, what's that? Is that competition, And I get nervous, I'm very non-confrontational. I look at him and I'm like, it's okay, I'm gay. It's fine. I'm not into your wife. I'm into your son. you know, I want your little guy, Was that creepy? All right. I don't want little guys. But I used to be a virgin. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, keep it real, with everybody. I'm just, facts. And it was tough growing up. You get bullied for it. People in high school would be like, "Yo, bro, what's your body count?" And I'm like, "Well, I haven't killed anybody, so 0." And he's like, "No, I mean, how many people have you had sex with?" I'm like, "I've had sex with nobody." He's like, "You're a loser." Like, I know so much. It's horrible, right? And I'm like, "No, I'm a winner. You're the loser because you're the one who's lost your virginity." Well, I'm the one who's retained it. I flipped him. You guys can use that. If you're getting bullied, I recommend it. If you're someone, is giving you a tough time, you tell them they're a loser of their virginity, Which I don't think. I'm looking at this call right now and I'm seeing everybody and it doesn't look like you guys are, you guys look like you do a good job, like in the bedroom. Like you guys look like you're an attractive bunch and you do a great job there. And I'm not, that I'm happy for you. I'm not gonna, just because I'm inexperienced doesn't mean I'm not happy for your experience. I'm happy for all of you. But I don't know. Yeah, I didn't, intimacy wasn't my thing. I, became intimate with someone for the first time. Like, kissing is like a home run to me. That's like, whoa, we should get married, No, that one's not relatable. Okay. But I don't know. I have been playing with my nephew a lot. He's he's super cute. But the other day he was playing with like this little mop. And a lot of the times when he rides cars, he goes like vroom vroom, like to speed it up. And when he was playing with his mop and like running around, I yelled out, I'm like, broom broom. It was like a broom. Oh God, that was bad. I knew it was gonna be bad, and I thought it would be good. That was rough, but I don't know. I am, and I wanted to be back to virginity because that, that was getting more laughs. So, that like, with being a virgin, part of the reason I wanted to stay a virgin, like it was in part because my name Shiv ends in HIV. So I was afraid of getting, HIV is a sexually transmitted disease. So I didn't want to get that. And I don't think that's funny either, because some people may have it. And if you're on this call, don't take that with a grain of salt. That's a joke. I don't know. I became angry at a chipmunk lately. I was in my, getting grocery delivery is a big thing. I don't know if you guys have been getting your groceries delivered, but I was in the garage the other day and I didn't want to get the groceries yet. This chipmunk popped out of a tire. Not out of a tire, it was like behind the car, and it looked at me and I looked at it, and it was staying inside because it was going to eat the groceries. And I was super mad at the chipmunk. I'm like, get out of the garage, and he didn't listen. He was like, no, I'm here, and so he just kept staying in the garage. And that was the most entertaining part of my day, that was a chipmunk altercation was the most, the most fun I had. And I do want to address this Zoom comedy thing. I think it's great in a way that like people are saying they're miss live comedy. I think being on a Zoom comedy call is amazing because technically, like, how many people are in this chat right now? Like 20, 30. There's 30 people in this chat, right? 29 aside from me. All of you could have farted right now. And it would have been a beautiful moment for the universe. Like, it would have been a universal fart. And none of us know. At a live comedy show, you fart, people know. It smells. And I just think we don't take enough time out to appreciate the fact that you can pass gas right now and nobody will know. It doesn't transmit, And I think that that's a very, very beautiful thing. But being a virgin is let's go back, So it's good. I highly recommend it to anyone who is, if you're not, you can't get it back. But like, if you are, protect it, because you want to be, protected and not be susceptible to any any viruses. I don't know what I'm saying. So I'm just gonna leave it here. Thank you guys so much for listening to me. I appreciate it. Thank you. I hope you laughed. I hope you had fun. And I'm excited for the rest of the show. Thank you guys.
Yeah, shit.
Woo! Give it up for Shiv Patel. Just kind of terrified me back to virginity. I don't know. Ooh. You guys, for those of you that joined in a little bit later, we are the Tiny Cupboard, and this is our virtual stand-up show. We're here every Thursday at 8 p.m. And after this, we're going to be doing another comedy special if you want to check in on that. We have stuff going on every single night for you virtually, so you should definitely check us out. If you feel so inclined to donate, we are going to put our link in the chat, and that money is split tonight between all of the people who are putting on this show for you. And we really, really appreciate anything you can give. Without taking up any more time, I'm going to go on to our next comic. Let's all give it up for the only lady comic of the night, Miss Joan Glackin. Woo woo!
Hey, what an honor. Hey, everybody. How's everyone doing? Good.
Good.
Like good. What's wrong with you?
Good.
Anybody who says that they're doing well right now is either lying or a sociopath, and I don't trust you for a fucking second. I am not doing well right now because I'm a good person. I got broken up with right before all of this happened, which was kind of poor timing on his part. So I'm single now, which is weird because I'm perfect, and also unemployed, so having a lot of time to fill. So I've been doing a lot of mostly masturbating. For those of you who aren't familiar, masturbating, you might think that it means baking masterfully. That's not what it is. It's actually when you bake some bread, and then while the bread is in the oven, you go and you masturbate. And then while you're masturbating, you just kind of start to silently cry, but you keep going until you're done. You don't finish, mind you, you just become aware that you're done. And then the bread's done too, and you get the bread, and you keep trying to kind of just eat the bread out of the loaf pan with a fork. And that's mostly what I've been doing. Some people have been knitting. I've been masturbating. I really have been masturbating a lot. That bit is true. When I masturbate, I watch porn, which is kind of a unique thing about me. And like 8 weeks ago, right at the start of this, my computer wasn't working. The keyboard was having issues. So I took it into the Apple store. And it was closed. It was the first day that the Apple store had closed because of the pandemic. So I was like, fuck, my computer's gonna be broken forever. I took it home. I opened the computer, and it immediately and quite loudly began playing the graphic pornography film that I had apparently failed to close the night before. And that had the Apple store been open, I would have loudly played for all of the innocent men, women, and children in the store. So I'm saying that it's good that this pandemic is happening. I'm just saying that God works in mysterious ways sometimes. I'm a glass half full kind of gal. That's just how I'm looking at it. Another silver lining, a lot of selfish grandchildren just became selfless grandchildren. Okay, I would love to go see Grandpa Hank. It's killing me that I can't go visit my beloved grandfather Hank, but it would literally actually kill him if I went, so I can't. I really do miss my grandma though. I love my grandma. My name is Joan. It's Joan Glackin if you want to find me on social media or whatever, but I'm very easy to find because I'm actually the only Joan under the age of 73 in the contiguous United States. I said that to my grandma one time, and she was like, what are you talking about? Joan isn't an old lady name. I have a cousin named Joan. And I said, that's interesting, Grandma. How old is she? And my grandma thought about it and then said, I think dead. But that got me thinking. So then I was like, I wonder how old is the average Joan? So I actually looked it up. Anybody have a guess? How old is the average woman named Joan in the United States? Any guesses?
8.
40.
It's dead. Dead. Yeah, Joan is no longer with us, unfortunately. After this pandemic is over, I may be the last Joan standing. Sad but true. My grandma can say whatever the fuck she wants, though. She had 10 kids. 10 of them. I don't know if that registered or not. From her body into the world. That's insane to me. I asked her about it one time. I was like, Grandma, 10 kids. Like, how did you do it? And she was like, well, Joan, to be honest with you, after the 4th one, they all just walked right out. Not what I asked. Not what I wanted to know. But she continued. She said, in fact, Joan, I don't even remember giving birth to your father. My father's birthday is January 1st. It was a different time. Grandma liked to party. My grandma still does like to party. Her go-to drink is a Dubonnet on the rocks with a lime. She has about 10 of these per evening, but she gets joy about it. Like, she really acts like she doesn't have that many drinks. So what she does is, when her drink is getting low, she'll do a scan of the room, find the youngest cousin, and go, Finn, dear, would you get Grandma just a little bit more Dubonnet? I don't want a full glass. Just cover the ice. That's her line. She goes, just cover the ice. And then there's a moment in the life of every child in my family when you realize, the ice fucking floats, Grandma. Sneaky bitch. Really, I'm single now. I did have a bit of a in between getting broken up with and getting into the apocalypse, where I was trying to see people, date people. And I went on a date with this guy, and he was British. Thank you. And next morning, we were lying in bed, and I'm giving him head because I'm perfect, as I mentioned earlier. And while I'm doing that, he goes, put your bubble on. Now, what I thought he said was, put your butthole on.
Okay.
And I'm like, I met you 12 hours ago, and I feel like you're being greedy. But of course, I'm a lady, so I didn't say that. I just said, what? So he repeats himself. He goes, put your bubble on. I still don't understand. So he points to the hair tie on my wrist, because apparently the word for hair tie in the UK is bobble. Isn't that kind of kooky? So I was relieved that he did not mean my butthole, but I was also following that initial line of reasoning. So what I did was I took my hair tie and I put it around his dick. To which he exclaimed in horror, I meant in your hair. So apparently this poor young man was just trying to offer me a bit of helpful, albeit unsolicited advice to help me in my work. And my response was just to garrote his penis. Just, he has not called me back. So I assume that he died of the coronavirus. I can't think of any other reason. Another thing that I've been doing is just going through old Facebook photos. Have you guys been getting into this? Just going deep into the recesses of the tagged photos. So I was going back through my photos, and obviously, you know, I was super insecure in high school, like really didn't like myself. I'm looking through my photos and I'm like, that's not too bad, right? Like, this is me. I don't know if you can see me with like this guy. Yes, he is my childhood friend who my mom made take me to the junior prom, but that's not important. But I look fine, right? This is one of the photos. But then I went further and I found the uncropped version of this photo. Can I just draw your attention to the deep squat I'm kind of holding? I'm I'm 26 and my knees cannot run more than a mile. And this is why, because for 4 years, I held this deep a squat and just thought maybe no one would notice. So to finish it off with my theme of silver linings, at least on the Zoom comedy show, none of you can tell what an absolute ogress I am. And that's where I'll leave you guys. Thanks so much.
Give it up for Joan Glackin. Oh my gosh. You know how much I can relate to the Joan name thing. I am Joanne. And we are Portuguese, and everyone else in my family has a beautiful name. My sister is Isabel. My mother is Jutilia. I'm freaking Joanne. I asked my parents the other day, I was like, how did you come up with Joanne? And my mom was like, you know what? You were kind of the mistake. We just I don't know. We just agreed on it and we're like, let's just do it. That was the answer of my name. Beautiful. You were a mistake. We just agreed. All right, guys. We're gonna keep right on moving. We put some links in our chat for you. Check out our show afterwards. And also, if you feel so inclined to donate, we appreciate anything you can give. It's split between everyone putting on the show tonight. And with that being said, our next comedian is Jason Oxhorn. Give it up. Woo-woo! I'm gonna put his info in the chat.
So I was thinking about threesomes recently. I was thinking who would be good in a threesome situation. I think Barack Obama would be. And here's how I think it would go down. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take Michelle's booty. We're going to take Ivanka's booty. We're going to form a united front. Not one of us is going to come, but we're all going to come together as Americans. Yeah, that's usually my test joke. How the audience is feeling about my set. I should go drown myself in my tub when I get home. No, so I'll tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Jason Oxhorn, and I grew up in a small town, which I still live in. So it was interesting living in a small town because I'm Black and Jewish. And it was interesting because my friends really didn't know how to introduce me, you know. They would kind of introduce me like an infomercial, like, look at my friend Jason. He's the wonderful, amazing Negro Jew. Check out how he pays for his bagels with EBT cards. Marvel at his Sammy Davis Jr. collections. Check out how his BMW is 20 years old and 15 different colors. And this town is very, very, very redneck. If there was an anthem for it, I think it would go like this: it's all right because we're drinking Bud Light. My truck is broken and I'm beating my wife. Bud Light. Yeah, as you can see, my set does not get me laid. Shiv, thank you for saying all of us are sexy, but I grew up in this town. And it wasn't easy, because if I had to add another song to what my dating life was, it would be more of like Aladdin, the song where it would be more like, hey, look there, he's black, I don't want that. They look closer, would they see a black boy? No, siree. As you can see, I have a really fucked up way of thinking. And I have insomnia. God decided, I wasn't punished enough. I should have insomnia and not be able to sleep. So I like to watch TV and I like to watch some infomercials. And one of my favorite infomercials is like an old school one. Has anybody heard of the Hip Hop Abs commercial? Well, if you haven't, the Hip Hop Abs commercial is by this guy, Sean T. His method was to tilt, tuck, and tighten. As a black man, the last thing at 2:30 in the morning you want is another black man asking you to tilt, tuck, and tighten. And if you're not laughing at what I'm saying right now, that's a jail. Just thought I'd clear that up. But it's funny. Speaking of, I was talking about dating and getting laid. I actually recently had a girl say to me, you know, you look like someone that masturbates every day. You ever been mad because you realize there's some truth to what the person says to you? Maybe the crust on my jeans gave it away. Like maybe it wasn't a secret. So I have dogs. You know, in this COVID pandemic and quarantine, you know, my mind wanders and I start thinking about what kind of voices my dog would have. And my one dog, even though she's a girl, for some reason I imagine that she would be Charlie Murphy because she likes to beg a lot. And you know, when she begs, I hear like Charlie Murphy, like, yeah, man, I want you to put some of that fancy cheese on that sandwich. Yeah, put some of that nice fancy mustard on there. Yeah, let you put on there last time. You gonna give me that sandwich. And then and then I have like this beagle. She's a pain because she likes to pee the floor a lot. And she doesn't care, and she gets gangster with me. She peed the floor, and I would imagine she's kind of like Tiffany Haddish, where she would just, you know, pee the floor and she would look at me. And this is a true story. She looked at me and she had the most evil look, like I was going to scold her for peeing the floor. And she looked at me with the most angry, menacing look on her face. And the only thing I could hear coming from her was, yeah, so what you gonna do now, huh? Yeah, I'm peeing the floor. What you gonna do? Yeah, put your chest out. Come on, do something. And I was like, all right. Apparently, I'm not that tough. No, fine. Wipe your feet off. So I know, for me in this culture, like I love going on Facebook, and I see a lot of people like, you know, share their thoughts and their opinions of things. I recently just I couldn't deal with one thing that somebody posted. It was about being brave, and the caption was about being brave, and she had a picture of being outside, and she was in a raincoat holding an umbrella, and the caption was about her hair being frizzy. I'm sorry, that's not brave, you know. Being a doctor in this time is brave. Being a firefighter is brave. Even Melania Trump having sex with Donald Trump is pretty brave. Frizzy hair on a rainy day, I'm sorry, I can't give it to you. I can't give it to you. That's just me. Maybe it's just me. I just think that way. I'm having fun with this. This is actually my first Zoom show, and I'm very glad to be here because I've had so much fun so far in hearing the other comedians. You never know quite how shows are gonna go. I love when people that don't do stand up always love to come up to you and tell you how to tell jokes. I have a million people come up to me and they're like, yeah, so I got this funny joke. And normally it's usually something from 50 years ago on like a variety show or some vaudeville joke. And they're like, yeah, you should totally go up and be a hack and tell this joke from 50 years ago. It would be hilarious. Like I would totally go to your show. And then you send them an invitation and they don't come to your show. And yeah, it sucks. So I like, as you can see, I have like voice association and word association, and I came up with this joke. It usually bombs, but I'm gonna tell it anyway. Is the different names for products and what nationalities would probably use that name for their kids. One of them is Boniva. Boniva is, I believe, a female genital cream, but I definitely can imagine being Black. I'm sure I could find somebody that's Black that would find that would name their kid Boniva. you know, but it's bone eagle. I told you to climb down off of that fucking fence. You crack your head open. And then see, I ain't gonna do nothing. I ain't taking you to the hospital. Another one, if you're a sports fan, not that we can be sports fans because there's no sports, is FanDuel. It's a game betting app. And I always imagined that FanDuel would be like this Indian guy that has truly disappointed his parents. Like he's just like, it's like FanDuel. We sent you over to America. We have put you to medical school, but still you are not married. You have no wife. You have no children. And that's my my joke that I think 20 years from now will keep me from getting on Saturday Night Live. They'll come back and they'll be like, yeah, Jason told that joke. He's not Indian, but fuck that guy. We are canceling him. I'm going to end with that. It's been fun. My name is Jason Oxford.
Oh, I think somebody wrote it in the comments. You have a very nice voice, Jason.
Thank you.
Very soothing voice.
It was like an angel.
Right? Yeah. You should just start doing audiobooks from home. Right?
I should.
I think that's something that we can all do from home. We can all record audiobooks. That's what
I would totally do that.
You should. I'll be your agent. Let's get in on this. All right, guys, we have 2 more comedians left. We've been putting the performers' information in the chat, and if you have other links, performers, please put it in the chat so they can check you out. Our next comedian is actually one of our frontline workers, guys. So let's give a big round of applause for Michael Lee. I'm so excited that he's able to be here tonight and tell us jokes.
Hey guys, you guys can hear me? All right, cool. You guys can hear me, right? It's all good? All right, awesome. Yeah, thank you for having me. My name is Michael Lee. A little bit about myself. I'm one of a set of Korean identical triplets. And you thought you had a hard time telling Asian people apart. We were actually adopted together as a set. Apparently, you adopt 2, you get the 3rd one free. I was the last to go to college, so clearly I was the free. It's hard now with this coronavirus and the quarantine. I mean, I've tried online dating. It's hard, I think, for everybody, but if you think online dating is tough, try being me, okay? Try being an identical triplet, okay? I was banned off of OkCupid for having multiple accounts. There's one girl hit me up one time after I texted her, and she hit me right back. She goes, I told you for the 3rd time, I'm not interested. And I was like, oh, this is where persistence meets unintentional harassment. Great. Ooh. So my brother Matthew is a freelance animator. My brother Andrew is an independent filmmaker, and I have health insurance. I have a job. I'm a nurse. Cannot tell you which hospital I work for. It does run with Mount Sinai. So yeah, I work in the ER, man. And if you guys want to talk about it, let's talk a little bit about what I've been going through the past 3 months, eh? You know, we got the coronavirus, right? And people have been saying, oh, you know, you've been on the front lines. Way to go. You're on the front lines. I was like, hey, I didn't choose the ER to fight a pandemic. I chose the ER because I was interested in learning about the new objects white guys shove up their asses. You know, that's what I really wanted the ER for. Like, way to go on the front lines. And I was like, okay, maybe I should take a little bit into account. And then I thought, wait a minute. I've seen Saving Private Ryan. I saw what happened on the front lines. Everybody died. Even Tom Hanks gets the virus. Saving Private Ryan, man. Yeah, it's weird, like when people tell you, you know, how you should feel. Like I should be proud. Like we're in the midst of the pandemic. Boost your ego a little, but any other day, humble yourself. You know. It's like, well, I guess I should be. Oh, don't guess. Be proud. Be proud. Shut up. Like you should be proud if you beat cancer, not when you're in harm's way. Like I've never watched a mother tell her kid who fell into a gorilla zoo habit to be proud. They're like, shut up, little man. Hope that gorilla don't kill you. I mean, I was actually infected with COVID-19 on March 20th. couldn't get out of bed. I was weak. I was coughing up blood, but it's okay. My job let me take off until March 22nd. I mean, if there's anyone that should be more understanding about an illness, it's your mother. What, you think a large hospital corporation cares if little old me gets sick? My job would tell me to return to work if I was knocking on death's door. It's like, I'm throwing up blood. Report to work tomorrow. I report to work. My job's like, why are you bleeding out of every orifice? How dare you? Take care of that patient. I'm dying. No fun way to get this virus though, crabs, gonorrhea, any STD. At least you got laid, I mean, how did I get this virus? Somebody spoke. Okay, that's it. That's what happened. I wish I could say it was from heroin, that I shared needles with someone cool like Demi Lovato, but no, a patient at work said, help. And I said, how can I help you? And then I fucking got sick. When I was sick, I made one crucial mistake, guys. I told my mom, okay? Most people kept 6 feet away from each other. I should have kept 6 feet away from my phone. Mom, who in the midst of the pandemic retired from her job as a nurse on April 1st. I thought it was a prank, but it wasn't. I'd rather suffer with 14 days of uncontrollable COVID diarrhea than have my mom take care of me. Like I've been dealing with her for 37 years, like there's still no vaccine. Like she can't stop texting me COVID tips. She's telling me to take my temperature and drink lots of water. Like how useless is that? I'm a nurse too. Like what is she gonna tell me that I don't already know? That's like the CDC telling me to wash my hands in between patients. Like a nurse giving advice to another nurse. I mean, the only time 2 nurses are better than 1 is in a porno, but not this one, not mother and son, okay? I'm sure there's a Pornhub subcategory for that. Like my brother, I live with him, and he said to me, can I get COVID from your farts? Like when your butt passes gas, isn't that your butt breathing? I said, trust me, I'm a medical professional. You can't get COVID from farts. Right after I looked it up on Google. Like, what if you could get COVID from farts? Like, that's like bad news for short guys like me. Like, you guys can't see me. I'm 5'3", okay? So it's the perfect Filipino height. I'm not Filipino, I'm Korean. That's another misconception I always get. It's like a bad running joke at the hospital. So there should be a rule for guys over 5'5". Wear 2 towels around your ass because those farts are silent and deadly. Like I can't imagine dying from a COVID fart. Like I'm lying in the ICU bed. My friends and family are watching me on the iPad, and all I can say is I just wasn't tall enough to avoid it. I mean, that got me thinking. Like, could you die from a COVID queef? And someone asked me that one time, and I was like, I haven't been near a vagina for 6 months, let alone 6 feet. Like I just, I can't answer that question, man. I cannot answer that question at all, man. All right, last thing. People keep calling me like a hero. Like you're a nurse, right? This kid was like, "What's your superpower?" I said, "Here's your meds." That's my superpower. It's like heroes, man. God, all these nurses get called heroes. Like if it makes you feel better when you go home and you're late on your child support, think about it. In your head, just say to yourself, I'm a hero. I'm a hero. I'm a hero. It's like you ever go home and your family asks, what hero thing did you do today? Did you save a life? No. Did you kill a virus? No. What did you do? This guy couldn't poop, so I gave him an enema. Real hero stuff, You don't want to go home to have like this cynical partner either. Like you get home from a long day of work, everyone's calling you a hero, and your partner says, "Hey, hero, the dishes still need to be clean." It's like, oh, I don't want to deal with this, And the last thing I gotta say is like the picture. You guys see that picture online of all those superheroes bowing in the presence of a healthcare worker, like DC and Marvel? Like that's sacrilegious. I'm a Marvel fan. Okay, that's like couldn't Superman just turn the world back a few months to like November? Before this came to the United States, and couldn't Iron Man just snap COVID-19 out of existence? Oh, we got a nurse. He's gonna give you a bed bath. Jesus Christ. All right, everybody stay safe. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. You guys, guys, we put Mike's information in the chat. There's also more stuff in the chat as well. If you guys want to join us on our next show, check on in there and see. It starts at 9:30 tonight, so it'll be after this one if you have nothing else going on. And we're just gonna jump to our final comic. I just found out some really cool news, and I think we said some stuff right before we started the show, but for those of you who joined us late, our last comic has a new show on Nickelodeon. Ooh, ooh. I'm sure he'll get to tell us about it, and we'll pump it up. I think we could all use some Nickelodeon. It's always happy there. Everyone give it up for Gus Constantellis. Did I say that even kind of right?
Yeah, no, that was great. That was perfect.
Woo!
Oh my God, yes, I wrote for a Nickelodeon show last year and it just started airing. And it's so weird because animation takes so long that like I wrote it like last July and then I'm like, oh, here it is fresh in front of my eyes. Great, amazing. I love how at one point during the show, Jessica called everybody out and she was like, why isn't anybody else laughing? What the fuck? Why am I the only fucking person laughing? And she has the best laugh. The best laugh. Thank you, Jessica, for calling these fuckers out. I love watching people's houses. Michael Wheel is cooking something in the back. He's like making something. I'm loving him. Katie and Colin have looked so bored, and I love that for them as well. On the ground next to like some light fixture. I don't know why. Some people have their pictures. I'm living for it. I love seeing people's living rooms. I am currently in New York. I don't know who else is in New York. Who else is in New York? Clap it up. Great. Yes, I did you were. I could feel that energy. I am originally from Brooklyn. I grew up in Bay Ridge. And New Yorkers get a bad rap for being assholes, but we are not assholes. We are the nicest people in the world, except we're like the nicest assholes, really. And I'll prove to you how. One time, I was on the subway and this woman started coughing on the subway and she got to like 7, 8 coughs. This was before Corona. And let me tell you something, on the New York City subway, you're allowed 3 coughs and then you got to get the fuck off the train. He coughed like 7, 8 times. They got so uncomfortable. And this other woman stood up, I swear to God, and threw 3 cough drops in her face. And said, shut the fuck up already, and then left the train. The woman was like, thank you. It was hilarious. I'm also Mike Lee. I'm like, Mike Lee, are you 5? What are you, 5'4"?
3.
5'3". I'm 5'.
I know you're 2. Yeah.
I got you beat. I got you beat by an inch. I'm 5'2", and that's Lady Gaga's height. That's Prince's height. That's Missy Elliott's height, which just means we all have big dicks. I don't care. One time I was on the subway, and this everyone was so tall. I couldn't get through them. I'm so short. I couldn't get through. The doors open. I had to get off. This was my stop. It was Wall Street, whatever. This one very tall woman, she saw me struggling to get off the train, and I swear to God, she was like, you got to let the little short dude through. He's fucking tiny. You can't see him all the way up there, but he's small, okay? Somewhere between 12 and 30 years old. His hairline's receding. He's a fucking mess. More than the little dude from Game of Thrones. Keep moving. I finally got off the train, and I was like, thank you. And she was like, you got it, little man. Like most of you live in New York City. How many times are you in New York City and for no reason someone taps you on the shoulder and they're like, your bag's open, you fucking idiot. I do that shit all the time, except if I see cash, I take it. Okay, that's how I make it. I don't give a fuck. I'm like, that's a 20. Let's do it. I'm living for it. I would like to let you guys know, my name is Gus Constantellis, but my actual legal name is Konstantinos Ioannis Konstantellis. I'm sorry. That is, I'm gonna type it in the chat so I can give you guys an example of what my childhood was like. Okay, so imagine that. Okay, that's 33 letters. Can you imagine what growing up with a name like Konstantinos Ioannis Konstantellis was like? First day of class, elementary school, kindergarten, my teacher was taking attendance and it just went like this. Fuck. And I was like, that's me. And then people ask me all the time, they're like, what does your name mean in your language? And I'm like, I don't know, dickhead. What does Jennifer mean in your language? Do we have any Jennifers here tonight? No, there's no Jennifers. All right, we're good. That's what I love about the Zooms is I can be like, wait, do we have a Jennifer? I don't want to insult a white girl. Okay, she'll call the manager. It's going to be a situation. I love it. My name is so long. First of all, I love the name like that. Every Scantron I ever had to fill out in elementary school. Y'all know what Scantrons are, right? Where you had to fill out the little bubbles with your name. Yeah. Fuck me, okay? With that name. And here's the thing is like in 2002 or something like that, they made it longer, the Scantron, to allow for longer names like mine, which is just fucked up. So like before I had like, okay, 26 spaces, I would just cut my name by 7 letters. And then they extended it. So I had to like write out my name and everyone in class would be like, are you done yet, Gus? And I'd be like, listen, Ben Chen, you have 7 letters in your name. I would get so mad. It could be the whole test. That's why I just did not do well on my SATs. I was still filling out my name. That's insane. I don't know. My parents are also in Brooklyn. They're in Bay Ridge. I live in Park Slope with my boyfriend because I'm gay and I get fucked in the ass. Okay, I don't know why I had to go so vulgar on that. I love how Joanne was like, oh, this next guy writes for Nickelodeon. And I was like, I'm just going to say fuck 17 times before the first 2 minutes. Very appropriate. Thank you, Jessica. Jessica's now moved on to smoking a cigarette, which iconic. I truly am. I love her so much. Jessica's my fave. I love it. Lauren is drinking a White Claw, which, yes. Wait, it's not a White Claw. What is that?
Vizzy.
Oh my God, is that a Vizzy? What is that?
Yeah.
Is that good? I keep getting sponsored ads for it because I'm white.
Yeah, I went to the store this weekend. I just wanted like a non-White Claw seltzer, so I grabbed it, and they're really good. And then I got an ad on Instagram for like a full rebate, so I just emailed my receipt, and they gave me my $20 back. It's great. Everyone should get it.
Okay, I didn't need the whole story.
Wait, what was that called again? Put that in the chat. Put it in the chat.
Put that in the chat. That was good information, but I was like, okay, hurry up. I'm kidding. No, I love it. That's great. Because I'm like on the fence with White Claw, but I love Truly. You like the Vizzy?
I do. The pineapple mango.
Okay, mango. I love that. Okay, great. Good to know. I'm gonna fuck with some Vizzy at Key Food this weekend. I love that. Where was I? My parents are in Bay Ridge. I'm in Park Slope, and they keep. My mom does not speak English. She's like she's like fresh off the boat from Greece. Like she doesn't speak in English. She just became a citizen like 2 years ago. It's insane. And she's like terrified of Corona, but at the same time, completely irresponsible. Like every time I call my mom, I swear to God, she's like, this is the last time you will ever speak to me. Say your goodbyes now. She'll just drive to Staten Island. And I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm going to the mall. I'm like, the mall's closed. Just stay inside. She's so funny. They keep coming over my apartment to drop off food, which is so nice, but like we'll stand outside and like socially distance, and it's cute. And my mom was wearing like a face mask and her gloves, and at one point she like took her face mask off and like lit a cigarette, and I was like, she's gonna die. I can't do this. The first time they came by, they brought off like all this like excess pharmacopic that they had. And then by the 4th time they came, I was like, I have requests. Okay. You can't just dump off all your food. You gotta get me some pasticcio. This is too much for me. I love it. The last thing I did before the quarantine was actually get a haircut because I am gay. Literally Bill de Blasio was like, I'm shutting down everything. And I was like, I don't have toilet paper. I'm getting a haircut. This is it. I got a haircut. And the thing is when I have a receding hairline, I know you guys can tell. It's cute. I'm making it work, but it is what it is. I have I have like 3 good haircuts left. It is what it is. But it sucks when you have a receding hairline and you have glasses because you have no idea what they're doing to your head until the very end of that haircut. So like literally they're just cutting my hair and I have to be like, I'm blind. And then at the very end of the haircut, I have to like react in real time. And it's like, da, da, da. I love it. I'm like, dying inside. And I go and I got this haircut, and they gave me the trainee, and the trainee looked terrified the entire time. And I asked for a high skin fade, and she looked horrified, and then she kept asking for help. She spent 37 minutes on my head, and then at the very end of the haircut, they put my glasses on, and I was like, oh. What? And then the owner walked by and said, "You have to fix that." It was blotchy. It was blotchy, everybody. And then they brought in another guy to fix my hair. And I thought, okay, he'll spend like 5 minutes, right? He spent another half hour on my head. It was that bad. I was pissed because first of all, I was there for an hour and 7 minutes, which when you're a dude, you don't need to be there for an hour and 7 minutes. And my hair looked fucked up. It was like awful. I had the worst experience. And so what did I do? I tipped both of them. Because I suck at confrontation. All right, guys, that has been my time. Thank you very much. You guys have been a great crowd. Enjoy your Vizzy, Lauren.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I can relate to that haircut so much. The same thing happened. I tipped everyone. I walked out with half my hair did. They were like, "You don't want us to finish it?" I was like, "Nope, we're good. I like it this way. I like it half done. It's good. Gotta go." You guys, give our awesome Zoom comics one more round of applause. Zoom comedy is still something we're all getting adjusted to, but these shows are really great. Thank you everyone for being with us. Those of you who come back on Thursdays, it's really cool to see you. And for everyone who this is your first show, welcome. I hope you check out some more of our stuff. Take a look in the chat. And you can see all of our comics info. Check out the Tiny Cupboard, check out our Instagram, check out our page. We're going to be promoting all of our stuff. Feel free to jump into our next comedy show at Gus Nickelodeon.
I saw you were recording and I was like, whoops, nope.
Can I just say that Black people don't usually have a haircut under 30 minutes? So it was kind of bizarre, like if you don't get a 30-minute haircut at a minimum, then we don't want you cutting our hair. Like that's cool.
That's a good rule.
It is.
That's a rule that needs to be standard, I feel like, for some people.
Guys, we have some like kind of fun new donation perks that we're testing out. We split all donations with our performers, and all our shows are free. And this is kind of our only way to have revenue right now. But we have some fun like kind of Kickstarter type perks. We have, if you donate $10, you get a compliment on Instagram from either us or one of our comics, and $20 you get a blog interview. So we have those perks. We have a link in the chat if those interest you. And then also our shows, our Rude Zoom bar show starts in 30 minutes, and that'll be a lot of fun. So hope to see you there too.
Yeah.
But thanks guys, thanks comics, thanks Joanne,
Yes,
thanks everyone for coming.
If anyone feels the need to stay and chat, you can chat for a little bit longer. I don't know if anyone's really bored at home right now.
And thanks to everyone. Thanks to everyone who's been supporting us. Kelly, Jessica, just for starters, anyone else, everyone in this chat's been supporting us a lot, but we really appreciate it. Oh, Katie and Colin for sure.
Yeah.
Damn.
So,
yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, you guys were a great crowd.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Zoom, such a great
allowed to laugh out loud.
Yeah.
I definitely want to come back. Like this was fun.
Yeah, Matt and Amy always put on good shit.
Jessica, I freaking love you in the audience.
I laughed my ass off on it.
You're the star of the show. I loved it.
I love you. Yes.
I figured out how to turn my thing down. I'm sorry it was so loud in the beginning. I was on a different one and they couldn't hear me at all.
Oh, you're fine. I didn't even know this was bad.
I didn't know I could do it there. I don't know how to use this stuff. Hope that helped. But it's fun. You guys are really funny.
It's
This
so
is
good.
the
We had such a
second-
great
Yeah,
lineup
I
tonight.
appreciate
Yes.
you.
Everyone was so awesome tonight. You
This
guys,
is the second show I've been on with Gus in 2 days in a row. So I think I'm moving up in the world. Comedy.
Hey!
oh, that's so funny. What did you guys do yesterday?
We did a medium famous show, which is every Wednesday through New York Comedy Club, and he hosted the shit out of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm on the same bill as Gus, so I'm happy about that. I'm doing well.
Yeah, it was a fun one. They're doing like themed shows. So every week is a different theme. And last night was the reviews are in. So it was like people reviewing things either they've been watching or doing during quarantine. And it could be somewhere, but yeah, but it was like either movies or like something like existential, like Earth, or like flipping pages. Someone did like a review of spreadsheets. So it was like a wacky kind of, it was pretty fun.
Oh, I love that. That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, I feel like we're all going to be doing something like this for a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's what I keep telling people. I'm like, if you're not doing this, if you're not a fan of the Zoom thing or whatever, you better buckle up because
Yeah.
like, it's gonna be-
We're in it now, bitches.
yeah, like we are in it.
Yeah, we're not going live. We're not going audience. Like no people anytime soon. Isn't LA? They were extended till August, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And New York, I can't imagine will be back.
I don't care what they say. I'm staying right here with you
Yeah.
guys.
This is safe.
You
This
know?
is a safe zone.
Yeah, this is a very safe zone.
My parents' basement is a very safe zone.
Is that where you are? Oh, that's so adorable.
That is where I am. In fact, my parents' basement. It's been 2 months. Although I think we are going to head back to Brooklyn to try to figure out our lives.
Yeah.
I think a Memorial Day weekend, I believe we'll be trying to test out Brooklyn and see how we like it there and if we can sustain I'll just be at home.
we can have social distancing walks with Cinnamon.
Yes. I will
Street.
say, guys, I have been at my parents where there's just so much more space and we have 4 dogs here, which has been really, really great. Oh my gosh, we had a crazy thing happen today. So we heard all of these birds chirping in the backyard very, very loudly, more loud than I had ever heard before. And my mom all of a sudden screams and she's like, oh my God, there is up in the rafters of like the deck to the neighbor's house, a nest. And in that nest is a snake eating a bird.
How cool.
And we were like, oh no. And all of these birds are going crazy. Then we saw that there were more baby birds in the nest. So obviously we had to get the snake down.
I have to end this meeting in order to go into our next meeting, the Zoom bar. So I'm sorry, guys.
Sorry, guys.
Right. That was fun.
I'll finish my snake story next week.
Oh shoot, I didn't realize I interrupted you. I'm
No,
sorry.
you didn't. It was a funny story.
In the rude Zoom bar. Anyway, guys, see ya.
Thanks, everyone. We got to end the meeting.
All right. Bye, guys.